What's up, and welcome back to the Central Sports Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but we're going to focus on basketball, college, and the NBA. Just want to say Ted will not be here today. He has got some other stuff to do, but that's all right because the show has to still go on. First of all, I think today's icebreaker is what is just your, if you could choose a big three, any players, who do you want on your big three? It can literally be any player, role player, star player, bum, anyone. Three players to add to a starting five. Who do you want?
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and think of, I'm not going to try and go with, I'm going to go current for me.
Yeah.
I think that starting off, I think that a good guy to have is just going to be Steph Curry. Because I think that the way that he moves off ball and can create spacing for himself is going to be fantastic. Next, I'm going to want some rebounding, so I'm going to go with Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
A healthy Embiid isn't really getting beat by a lot of people. And then right now, I also really need a guy who can, push us in transition and play some defense on the perimeter, because with Steph Curry and Joel Embiid, we're going to be on the perimeter easy. And we've actually seen these guys team up in the All-Star break. I'm going with Giannis Antetokounmpo.
I like that.
Okay.
If I want to go, I'm not really looking at a big three, I'm not really going to pair LeBron James, Luka Doncic, and say James Harden. I don't believe in that type of stuff. It never works. So what I want to do is I want to first of all take Drew Holiday, one of the best defenders of our generation, really, of the past decade. He has carried multiple teams to championships just being on the team. So I want Drew Holiday. He's not just a defender. He can also do a lot of stuff all around. And for the second player, I want Victor Wembanyama. Just because there's no one else who's doing what he's doing. He's 7'7", and he can pretty much do whatever you would need him to do in any sort of situation. So those two guys, Victor Wembanyama. Is it even Victor Wembanyama or Wembanyama?
Victor Wembanyama.
Okay, Wembanyama. And then I will also take Drew Holiday. And then for my last player, I kind of want someone who is just going to be able to, guard the ball also, but, be able to be that scoring threat, that lob threat. And for that, I want Jalen Duren. So I'm kind of, not having the strongest point guard selection, but I don't know. I like that team.
The thing that I'm worried about is really going to be the ball handling with that, as if you're running Drew Holiday or Wemby. Obviously, Wemby's great for his size, but still he's not the most amazing ball handler.
I mean, I think Drew Holiday has shown that he can be capable of doing what he needs to.
I mean, I'm not saying that he's going to be bad, but I'm just not really seeing, I think I would almost rather go maybe Marcus Smart if we're looking at it just for your team.
I agree.
Having a better primary ball handler.
I agree, but I just want a Twin Towers kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
I'll go next. Because obviously last person, but I would say give me Anthony Edwards.
Yeah.
Can do anything you need, and I think he's shown in Minnesota. Then I would say Nikola Jokic.
I like that, and I was thinking about taking Jokic, but I think he's too much of a liability on defense for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
And then last person, I would say for some defensive, he's not really a star, but Lou Dort.
I do like Lou Dort.
Okay, I really like that.
I like what we were doing with this. Obviously we didn't all choose superstars necessarily, except for Victor Wembanyama, as well as Joel Embiid. I guess we
And
did have some
Giannis.
superstars, but we didn't have a full team of superstars.
I basically picked all superstars.
But that's fine because
Yeah.
it can work.
It can work, just not.
And if we want to, stay on the topic of NBA, do you guys have any takes that you want to do right now? Because I'm trying to, get into a groove of debating on a couple of takes.
My take, it's not really a take, but I think Luka Doncic has shown in his past couple games that he should be the MVP this year.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Come on. You have one
Can you please
10-game strand.
Can you please explain this though? I want to hear what your explanation is for this.
Okay. So I think, obviously lately he's averaging almost 40 points a game.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the season, he was also very good. I know he's on a Lakers team that's not the strongest, but I think that his scoring and just everything, his assists, his rebounds, what he does in general has made the Lakers so much better. And I think that him lately is the reason that they're looking better. And I think that, the other competition for MVP is obviously Shea, Cade, and obviously Shea is would be deserving again.
Mhm.
But I just don't know if like being on the best team, like obviously he's the best player too, but I don't know if like we should have back-to-back MVPs necessarily, especially 'cause like you always want to see the same people win,
Mhm.
and Luka has shown how he can impact a team, even when he was on the Mavericks too.
I think that, like you're saying, you don't always want to see the same person win. If the same person deserves to win, you can't just be like, they won it last
I
year.
know. I just mean
Shea-
I don't know if Shea is the most deserving this year.
Oh, come on. Shea is 100% the most deserving. He's on the best
look,
team
look.
in the NBA, the star player, the ball handler, the guy who they give the ball to when the game's on the line. Luke has been great over the past 10 games, but for the first 60 games of the season, it was Shea. And I just have to say, you can't base, you can't have recency bias, I guess is what I'm saying, about like, you're thinking like, oh, well, recently, Lucas,
This is an
he's been on
82 game.
fire.
This is an 82 game award
Mhm.
here.
I know.
Not
I'm
just
just
a stretch in
saying
March.
he was good at the beginning of the year too.
Yeah, I think that my opinion on all of this is that the MVP is something that's really hard to give out to someone because there's so many people in the league. There's probably 10 people this year. Maybe not 10,
Yeah,
but there's 10
there
people who are in
is lots of
conversation
deserving
who could
people this
win
year.
this MVP. And I don't know if Luka Doncic, is the most deserving, and maybe he just, looks like the best candidate right now with the numbers that he's putting up. But here's my question, because Anthony Edwards as well as Cade Cunningham maybe aren't putting up the most, craziest numbers of all time, I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're not, averaging 35, but they're contributing more to their team.
And having the team on your back, being able to put an NBA roster on your back and carry them to a competitive position. I mean, Luka's doing that, but the Lakers still, the Pistons are a much better team, and I think that Luka even might have more help on that roster with LeBron, with Austin Reeves, with Marcus Smart. I mean, that is a really good, core to have around him. Obviously, the Pistons do have depth,
I was
but,
going
like-
to say the Pistons have a core around them too.
but like
Jalen Duran.
I still would say that like
Cade, Isaiah
looking
Stewart.
at it, Luka's like maybe he is a better candidate for it than Cade, but still he's not beating Shea.
I think that Shea is the guy who I want to see hold that trophy up for the MVP. But
I do wanna
is
say-
Jokic just as deserving? of
I don't
this?
think so.
I
I
don't
would like
think so
I would
on
like
this.
to see the Nuggets be more competitive.
What makes you not want to see Jokic get this? Is it because of the way he plays? Is it because of his
I just don't know
mentality?
if the Nuggets are competitive enough this year, like
Yeah.
to really.
So you think
see it.
that
I
being an
do-
MVP, a lot of it relies on how good their team is?
I think that that's what the voting has kind of leaned.
Yeah.
I don't know if
lean
I don't
towards
know if
late
I
Because this
like
isn't-
that way of voting, but that is how it's been recently.
Yeah.
And so regardless of that, I think that Shea will win it. I think that Jokic should be second though, because over Luka, because Nuggets are obviously still competing for a championship, and they're probably still.
I do want to say
a top
Jamal
2,
Murray
top
this
3
year
team in
has
the
been a
West.
lot better.
I just want to
Yes.
ask something.
I would agree.
Let's take a complete hypothetical because I think the reason that you want to choose Luka is because of the numbers that he's putting up. So, say we take, I don't know, MPJ, for example. Say he's averaging 34. He's averaging 8 assists a game and 4 rebounds. But I guess he's also on the Lakers. Are you going to still pick MPJ as your favorite? Or would you go more Luka if he did the same thing on the same team? Or what I'm trying to go towards is, does the player's name really matter a lot to you?
No, not as much. I just think it would be like more of like what other stuff he has done, like
Mhm.
total stats, like percentage, what his plus minus is,
Yeah.
how many double doubles or triple doubles he has, and like who has just brought more to the team in general.
Yeah. So honestly, I feel like the MVP race is a little bit of a toss-up this year. I'll
I
be
do wanna
excited
say,
to see who wants.
Did
who
you
gets
see
to win.
MVP
the new
and
rule
Rookie of the Year are very tight.
that they got rid of the 65 games?
Oh, they did.
Yeah,
For this
just,
year?
It's basically.
They just announced.
Is it for
that-
this year?
Yeah, because Cade is now in the running officially. Like I
Okay,
know that
good.
we're obviously still there, but I know that he hasn't been playing as much lately.
And that's the
obviously,
thing.
but they've got rid of the rule for it now.
And that's the thing because people can still take accountability into their own hands on choosing who's the rightful MVP, regardless of how many games they play.
Mhm.
If someone plays 59 games but they won their team 45 games in the stretch when they were playing, that's the MVP.
I know.
Mhm.
I was gonna ask what you
100%.
guys thought about the rule and like the change. Like, do you think it's good or do you think that
I think that's good.
the
I like it.
65 rule or 65 game rule should stay.
No, I think it's good because someone is going to eventually someone's going to miss that by such a small margin, and there's no way they should discredit their entire season just because they missed 5 games out of an injury that was completely out of their control.
I think that if they were to do it, they could put it at something like 45 games or 50 games. Something you have to play over half of the games, but like 65, that's a lot of games.
I
and
think
like
the thing-
Cade
I think-
being injured for like what 3 weeks,
Yeah.
he's out, then boom, that's
I think
gone.
the thing
because
is that
collapsed
I think
lung.
the thing is that they got rid of this. This is a good thing because like people are still going to be able to vote for the rightful MVP.
Mhm.
Not if someone goes out there and plays 30 games. They're not going to vote for them.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
They don't
They're not
deserve
getting the vote anyways, even if they did that.
Yeah. But if we want to move on,
Mhm.
I think I want to talk about the storylines coming out of the East this year. There are 3 teams who were probably looking to be the worst in the East, or at least somewhere in the middle of the pack. Raptors, Pistons, and Celtics. Those 3 people are pretty much the teams that are leading the East right now.
Yeah.
And why do you guys think that is so? And I also want to touch on how the Magic has really, slipped out after their impressive season last year. So why do you think people like the Celtics, the Pistons, as well as the Raptors are even competing this year at all?
I think the reason is because they have a lot of depth and
Mhm.
they have stars that do exactly what they need them to do.
Yeah.
I think that it's because when you're a younger team, your contracts are just so much cheaper that, they have so many talented young guys, like guys who, if they were on an expensive contract, would be a horrible contract, like a guy like Emmanuel Quickly for the Raptors. But
Or
since-
even someone like, well, here's the thing. They do have some older guys, like R.J. Barrett as well as
Yes.
Brandon Ingram
Mhm.
are 2
Yeah.
really big pieces to that team. But
yeah, 100%. But like since they
it's a reasonable enough of a contract for
Mhm.
them to still be able to make other moves and make a well-rounded roster.
Yeah, and I think like we're kind of seeing with the Knicks, like they ran into some contract issues and they're really struggling to get depth. And obviously last year, Tibbs was not exactly giving minutes to a lot of guys because they didn't have the depth.
Mhm.
The Celtics have the depth just because they have done really well in trades and done well in drafts. That they've been able to draft guys and keep them on their team and kind of control how much money they're going to give them instead of letting that be dictated in like a bidding war for a player.
I think
So-
the Celtics, that team is proving why a lot of people in the NBA could go out there
Yeah.
and be a really good piece to a team, any team.
Mhm.
And I think that's all thanks to Joe Mazzulla, the head coach
Yeah,
of the Celtics,
I was going to say that
who
too.
is
that-
really building the roster, not out of a bunch of superstars, but out of a bunch of guys who are just good basketball players. And if they
Yeah.
can go out there and play their role, that's all they need. Luka Garza is getting maybe 10 minutes a game, and he'll go out there, give you the best 7 points you'll ever see. And, maybe he'll get some fouls, but maybe that's what Joe Mazzulla wants. And then
Yeah.
you also can put Baylor Shireman out there, someone who
Yeah.
is looked at as not a good basketball player in a lot of people's minds, but he can go out there and maybe sometimes you'll see a 30 bomb from him,
Mhm.
He can score, and there's a lot of upside to their entire
Yeah.
team. If one person decides to not perform, Derek White, Jason Tatum,
Mhm.
Jaylen Brown,
Like
Peyton
Jason Tatum
Pritchard.
getting double teamed.
and we
even
can't
Yeah.
count out.
came
They
back.
have a lot of superstars.
really-
I think this is the best roster in basketball, to be honest
I
with
do
you.
it.
I really want to talk about how well Joe Mazzulla's done with his development of players. Like
Mhm.
Derek White, obviously Derek White, it wasn't entirely him. Derek White is just a great player. But also the big 2 I want to focus on is Sam Hauser and Peyton Pritchard.
I also want to add
It's-
Hugo Gonzalez into there for now. Even though he's a
Yeah.
rookie,
Mhm.
he is putting up a really impressive season when it comes to defense as well as a little bit of scoring. But
I kind of want to
from what you wanted to say,
I kind of want to focus on guys who have been in the league and were kind of counted out,
mm-hmm.
and then Mazzulla kind of revived them. I mean, Peyton Pritchard used to be on the Celtics, just a guy that they put in when there was 15 seconds left in the half so he could get up a good look from half court, and obviously he's pretty good at those, hit 1 or 2 in the finals
Mhm.
a couple years back, but now he's developed into a great player, and, Caitlin Clark comparison.
Yeah. And you can throw you can really throw their whole entire back of the bench
Mhm.
into there. I guess those 2 guys aren't really the back of the bench,
Yeah.
but Luka Garza, like I was saying
They kind of
earlier.
went from the back of the bench, though.
Yeah, Luka Garza, was counted out really on the Pistons as well as the Timberwolves. Just an unlucky scenario, and I think that Garza wasn't really league
Yeah.
ready despite playing 4 years in college. But he lost weight, he got faster, he figured out how to play NBA at their tempo, and all of a sudden, Joe Mazzulla is seeing this, and he can put them out there. I know there was a stretch for a while he was getting a little bit of media coverage because
Yeah.
he was shooting the best 3-point percentage in the league for a
Mhm.
while.
I do want to say the Celtics were never a bad team with Brad Stevens,
Mm-hmm.
but I just think Mazzulla was obviously the right person.
And Brad Stevens stepped up to the general manager or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
I
was a
think
good
that-
head coach too.
I think that the Celtics, for a young player who's kind of, battled with his career to like see minutes, I'm kind of thinking of a guy like Jonathan Kuminga. I think that would
Yeah.
be great if Jonathan Kuminga could go there, because I think that he could develop so well under Mazzulla. Maybe even a guy like Brandon Pajemski. I think that he would actually be really good and kind of maybe move into a Peyton Pritchard type of role. That's well done. That's the clapping.
No.
You mean to clap?
I did not mean to clap. Okay, chill.
Middle one.
Never mind.
Bottom
Okay,
left,
we're gonna
bottom
move on from that.
Yeah.
But
Bad
I,
take
I don't
there.
know. I think Jonathan Kuminga's contract is gonna be too much for the
Celtics.
to take on
Yeah.
after this year
I think
or whenever his
he's
contract
proving
expires.
himself on the Hawks, and that's a good situation for him right now at the moment.
And then the last team of the East that we want to talk about is the Pistons.
Sixers.
If I want to give my 2 cents on this, because I might have the most knowledge of this, and don't let me go for too long because I'll get carried away. But I think that just the craftsmanship of this roster, as well as the playbook, is utilizing every single player to what they need to do to their max potential. Jalen Duren is that lob threat. Paul Reed is that defensive guy who's going to go out there when Jalen Duren needs a break. He's going to lock up. He's going to get some boards. He's going to get some points. Cade Cunningham is operating this entire offense at one of the smoothest paces I've ever seen. Nothing phases him out there. No glaze. Actually, all glaze, to be honest with you. And then we look deeper into the bench. They just have a lot of guys who, were kind of like, free agent signings that people are like,
Duncan Robinson.
sweet, we wasted our free agency signing these guys, not a superstar, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've said that myself. I was like, are you serious? We got Karis LeVert signed a huge contract.
Hey,
To be honest, I was
Karis
right
LeVert
with
is
that.
tough.
I didn't really like Karis LeVert on there, but Duncan Robinson.
I don't think Karis LeVert's a great fit either.
Duncan, yeah,
I
don't either.
I like Karis LeVert, but I don't know if
I liked him on the Cavs.
I think
Yeah.
Karis LeVert was going to. I think his goal was to try to back up Asar Thompson, but that just didn't really work.
Yeah.
I don't think Asar Thompson has panned out as well as Ahmed. That might be a little hot take there, but
I think it's the different scenarios that
Yeah.
they're in.
Mhm.
He's not really supposed to be that guy.
I do want to say JB Bickerstaff is probably the best hire for that team. Or
I think
was
he's
the
coach
best
of the year
hire.
this year.
I
Mhm.
think he deserves coach of the year. And I mean, he was always good on the Cavs, but I think he's really proved himself now.
I mean, I think a big part of their turnaround is from Monty Williams to JT Bickerstaff, because Monty Williams was a horrible coach hire, and they paid him
Terrible, bro.
so much money, and absolutely absurd.
And I
think it was
believe
like
he's at the
30 million.
Pelicans now.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great coach on the Suns. Obviously, he really helped them get there, and they were running some great plays down the stretch in some of those games. But I think he really, when he got to the Pistons, didn't exactly work
He
on
did-
work on the talent level, but
and-
instead just try to force them to be better than they were instead
I'll
of
give-
developing them as a whole.
Okay, I'll give a little respect to him because he was, he was the guy who kind of built this roster. To be
Yeah.
honest with you, but to be fair, he didn't develop those players too well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that JB Bickerstaff is much better at
Yeah.
developing players to their full fit, 100% potential.
I mean, look at what he did with Darius Garland.
Yeah.
I think that a big thing that we could look at with the Pistons is Monty Williams really developed them individually, but didn't really develop them as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And like obviously Cade was really good last year, and they had plenty of guys on that team like Jalen Duren who were developing, and Jalen Duren really added an offensive game last year, but it just wasn't working out because he wasn't, getting them in the right situations. He wasn't getting Cade onto that right wing where he likes to attack from. He wasn't, finding Jalen Duren, high post, which is where, they're two really killer from now. So I think that JT Biggerstaff, finding the right place, finding the right, formats of offense to run, that has been huge for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give thanks to Troy Weaver for building that roster from the ground up because it was rough. But he used those draft picks pretty wisely. We didn't really miss on too many of them after the Cade Cunningham draft pick. But except Isaiah Livers, but that one didn't pan out. He
Yeah.
was good in college. You never know. But
Killian Hayes was
Killian
the
Hayes.
best pick of that Pistons era.
whatever, though. I can't argue because we're in a good position now. It's the process,
Yeah.
But if we want to move on, is there anything else you want to touch on in the NBA, or should we go to college?
I do want to touch on one thing in the NBA. Can Doc Rivers please leave the Bucks sooner than later?
I think he
we
will.
need a change.
I think he will. Unless there's something going on in that front office where they just want to absolutely destroy their team. There's no reason he should be. He should.
I
not
think
be out
Doc
there.
Rivers is such a bad coach. When he
I
coached the Sixers,
when
oh my God, against I don't even remember which second round loss it was.
He's one of those
I think it was
coaches.
against the Hawks.
He's
and
one
then
of those
just-
coaches where he's been around for a while, so a lot of teams like to pick him up because he seems like he's a reliable guy, but he has
I
really
just
I
think-
want to say
I don't know
was
why they
so
would think
mad
he's
when
reliable. I don't think he's won a ring. I don't think he's won anything.
I know.
I just think he's a horrible coach, and he's not a winning coach.
I was so mad when we brought him in because all we needed to do was work on the defensive side of the ball.
I don't know
And
how
it
to
was getting better. We were like 30 and 18.
I don't know how to explain this, but he's like a 7 seed coach. I
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
I literally knew-
100%.
When I saw that hire, I texted my
Like, he's like
other
a 7 or
Bucks
6
friend
seed.
fan, and I said, "Well, first round elimination coming."
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good playing coach. First round's a little stretch there, Brant.
I want to move into
I
college
mean, in the
basketball.
past, like what the year we hired him.
Not to cut you guys off, my bad. But let's
Little-
move into
little
college
Ted there.
basketball. A little Ted. Let's move into college basketball as well as the NBA draft before we move on, but also move on because it's like a
I
new
think
topic sort of thing.
I do want to say NBA draft clear #1 pick now, AJ Dibansa.
I agree. I think AJ Dibansta, AJ DeBonsta, AJ DeBana. Like everyone calls him
Yeah.
different things. I don't know why.
Devansa.
It's DeBansta,
Yeah.
but he's just that guy.
He's too good.
and
He can do everything you need from a player,
Mhm.
and I think that shows on what he did with that BYU team. Obviously, they were a good team and they lost one of their best players, but when you score 35 of your team's and the rest of your team is 36 points,
I was on
in
the
that
team with a bunch
game.
of LA Fitness bums.
he literally was.
He genuinely was. Without Richie Saunders, that team is disgusting, bro.
Yeah, I want actually Rob. I think Wright is his
Someone
name.
out there, I guess, is
Yeah,
probably
he's
decent.
not bad. But I want to say I know he went to BYU because of their NBA like connections and their staff being good
And the money.
and $7 million.
Utah Jazz here.
But there would have been so many better options for him.
It's the money thing now, and if also you can go to a nice conference, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean, BYU
he proved
it's
himself.
Probably.
I
not the
mean,
worst
honestly,
organization.
for him, 1-2 pick, he doesn't. I mean, obviously he cares, but it's not like he's gonna like
Yeah, be
throw
anywhere.
everything away to try and
Yeah.
be that one pick. Because honestly, in some cases, in some scenarios, being that #2 pick is better because that means you're likely on a better
Kevin
team.
Durant.
And then if we want to speed through the next picks, God bless whoever Soul picks him, but Cam Boozer might go at the 2 or the 3.
Yeah,
I
I think
don't
he goes
know.
3. I think Peterson.
I think Darren
purely
Peterson is
they
more promising
will
when
be,
it comes to skill.
drafted.
I
because of
think-
skill.
I think Keaton Wagler could go 4. I think that Illinois is going to make a big run. Obviously, we're filming on Thursday right now, so the game will happen tonight. But I think that
I
Keaton
think he
Wagler could go 5, and I think he's really.
I think
good.
Darius Acuff will go.
Or
Here's
4.
the thing.
number 4.
I think
Here's
it
the
goes.
thing. Here's the thing.
I-
Here's the thing.
We go Wagler, Acuff, then Flemings. I think that's the guard.
I think
order.
you got to add Caleb Wilson. In there.
Caleb Wilson is the 5,
Yeah.
in my
Mhm.
opinion. Despite having that injury, he has the most upside
Yeah.
in this draft
He's
besides
gonna
Darren
be good.
Peterson. And to be honest with you, I think that Darius Acuff will either go number 3 or he will either go number 8.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because someone will fall for, the hype train behind him because he's a good player.
yeah.
He's obviously a lottery selection, probably a
Mhm.
top 5 in my opinion.
And he's been red hot recently too.
And he just got a shoe deal
With
which is
Reebok's
insane.
signature shoe.
But I will say that is he really that number 3 guy to pick here? I think that he
I don't
has a
think
little
I
bit
would
of hype
take
around
him at number
right now.
3, but I think he will be one of the best players out of this draft.
Yeah, I think that he will, pan out to be a really good player, but I think I could see someone,
Falling,
really
yeah.
I think someone could snag him at the end near the end of the lottery, not near the end of the lottery,
Yeah,
but after that top
after-
5.
I think that he has some of the most NBA potential. Obviously, NBA potential is way different than college basketball. I think the guys in this top with like the lowest NBA potential, I would say Cam Boozer and Kingston Flemings. I just think that both of them are not going to end up pinning out.
I think
and
Cam-
one of those
I
is
think-
my bust.
I think that Kingston Flemings is a little undersized when
Yeah.
it comes to actual like muscle.
He will have to.
He'll have
get
to
in
hit the lab.
weight room and
Because
Yeah.
he's just, I've seen like comparisons with his build to like John Morant, but he just doesn't have the athleticism to
Yeah.
back that.
Yeah, and for Keaton Wagler, it's Keaton Wagler. Because I saw an interview, someone said Wagler, and he's like, it's Wagler. So it is Keaton Wagler.
Or is it like Wagler,
It's Wagler.
like Franz Wagner?
It's Wagler, actually.
Wagler.
I think it's Wagler. But I think that he is really NBA ready.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
I
I'll say
do.
this because he is in a locker room with one of the most just diverse teams of all time.
Mirkovic madness.
They just have it's just like a really not cohesive roster. It doesn't seem like
Yeah.
it'd work. So to be able to work with a coach like
Brad Underwood, I think is his name.
yeah, just to be able to work with different coaches and different people and to be able to, make an offense work because obviously there's a lot
Yeah.
of scoring options on that team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's not really the number 1 at times.
Yeah.
which is crazy
I think
to say.
anybody on that team is the number one.
There are just
behind.
so many shot makers on Illinois. That's why I have them going to my final.
Yeah. And with that, I think that he should go to a team like the Utah Jazz or the Brooklyn Nets,
Mm-hmm.
who
Mhm.
kind of need some more scoring capabilities, but also someone who can kind of, dictate their offense and
Yeah.
like make something happen.
Honestly, a team that I really, really like for him is the Bucks.
Yes.
The Bucks
would
getting
really
a
like
scoring guard, that would just be fantastic for them because obviously they just waived
Cam Thomas,
Cam Thomas.
which was mind blowing to me.
I just think that if he went to the Bucks, I think that that's his top team because obviously I don't think
Yeah.
Giannis will be there, and so it'll be a young team that he can lead. I think Cole Anthony's still there, so I mean,
No, he's gone. He's been gone since the deadline.
Does anyone know how tall Keaton Wagler is?
No, I do not off the top.
I feel like
think
he's maybe a
A
6'4".
player I
think
want
he's
for the
6'5".
Bucks that I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm not the highest on him right now, and I think he should stay another year in college to develop. Is Nate Ament.
Yeah.
hmm
I
don't
he's
think
gonna
Nate
be good.
I think it's safe to argue that Nate Ament isn't top 25 in the Sweet 16 right now, which is
Yeah,
interesting
That's
because
not ridiculous.
if there's
to say.
25 people who are better
It's
than him in
not
the Sweet
crazy to say.
16,
the
if there's
person
25
I'm
people
most
who are
scared
better than
for
him
in
with-
this game from Tennessee is Jacob.
Dude, Ted.
Ted.
No.
But Nate Ament, if there's 25 people who are better than him in the Sweet 16, I don't know why he should go top 20 in the NBA draft, I think it's an age thing.
Do you think Jeremy Fears will pan out in the NBA?
I think that he will get people really pissed off, but I don't know.
It's been a good episode, so we're gonna have to wrap it up here.
Uh-huh.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Just kind of a lot of basketball, so not the most, mixed bag of all time, but it was a good talk. It was good
Yeah.
talks. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.
Peace.
Peace.